Alright, so I'll just put a little bit of tight bond in. While we're still over the neck heel, we're just going to continue to use this clamp here. Just a little bit nervous about putting too much pressure on the corner of that. Those are seated really nicely. That one's not great. I'll just do the old-fashioned way.
Can I watch you using that machine?
Yeah, of course. So you just roughly place the frets in.
Yeah. And then bang them in.
Wait, that's the rough placing, just so that they're kind of held in place, basically.
And then, oh, using that.
Use that to put a little bit more glue in there.
Sorry.
How easy is that?
Easy. That's actually a good machine.
Really good. Let's move that out of the way and give these a wipe. So having stripped the black paint off this guitar, there's a sort of a walnut colour stain, which is very common for Gibson. They typically will do like a walnut grain fill with some stain in it, walnut stain, and that kind of gives a walnut, you know, stain to the actual filler, but also the body adopts that. What I want to do is sand down to bare wood and then do a walnut fill. I've had conflicting reports. Some say that it's just a walnut stain in the grain filler, you know, and that sort of you know, it doesn't permeate the wood because they seal it beforehand. I've heard others say the wood takes on a walnut colour because the stain comes from the wood filler, which would suggest that they haven't clear coated it. So we just need to do some experiments. So what we're going to do is this. First things first, we're going to get some of our pre-mixed Heritage red that I had in anyway. Give it from the lid. Okay, so very orange, isn't it? But I think once you build that up, you'll get the colour. I strongly suspect, and this is the problem of course with these pre-mixed colours, it works on the basis of you not having dyed the wood first. So let's have a look at what that would look like. The reason I'm doing this is because there's no point in bending over backwards to recreate this walnut, you know, as like a base, if it doesn't actually sort of yield the result that we're hoping for. Yeah, I think there is just like that depth to the colour that I think we're gonna need. Okay, let's work on the basis that that is the case then. There are much better dyes out there, but this is the one that I happen to have on the shelf. Man, that's pretty close, isn't it? I wonder if like I've got some of this stuff, which is just basically the clear reducer. Yeah, that colour is exactly the same. Okay, so that says to me that we can do a bit of a grain fill, sand it back, and then stain. I'm just working this grain filler into the grain. Just a little bit of water. Okay, so you can see the walnut grain filler. Obviously, we've done a really rushed job on this, but you can see little flecks of the walnut grain filler in there. So the interesting thing will be, if we put the walnut stain on it, will it make that walnut filler too dark? Let's see. That's actually looking really good. If you compare it to the original finish, obviously it's a bit blotchy because, you know, we've just done a rush job on it, but I reckon that's bang on. Okay, cool. So, mahogany, grain fill, walnut stain. That is the sequence. So that's without the stain, and that's with the stain. You can just see it has a richer, deeper colour, and I think that's all part of the palette that you get. Cool. Okay, just going to hit the back with some 120 grit and see where we go. You know, we're trying not to shave the, change the shape of the guitar or lose any depth. I'm just changing to a more aggressive pad. You know, got to be super careful, but there's quite a lot of stuff here, and you know, I could steam some of it out or whatever, but it's not that deep, and actually, you know, we can get away with just sanding that. A little bit trickier because we're working with end grain. And already that is looking much better, like much sharper. Okay. That's looking really nice. This bit here is just a round over, so you know we'll get that when we sand. You know, we don't want it too sharp here, but that's looking like an SG, isn't it? So that's looking really nice. Alright, let's flip her over and we will have a look at the back then. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get that little bit that I didn't want to get with the orbital, just because I feared that I'd round the edge over. I just didn't have enough to support myself. Tackle these edges. Alright, this is really coming together now. So we're in a good place there. I've just got to do around the heel and in the cutaways there, and the end of the headstock, and at that point we are done. This headstock repair, while still visible, I reckon will be invisible by the time we finish it. It's looking great.